I wanted to build retaining walls, but landscapers weren't very responsive, so I decided to do it myself. I started out by visiting a block and stone supplier for materials, took some ideas home, made a landscape plan with a layout for material, and then worked with the supplier to figure out the quantities I needed. I have 3D animation software, so I was also able to visualize and share images of my plan. Here's a breakdown of the materials I purchased. It was close to $4,500, but friends think I saved between $15,000 and $25,000. I chose the Belgard Sterling wall blocks because of the pin locking system, so I didn't have to use adhesive on each block, and they were designed well for stacking and splitting, and they were recommended. The 7 tons of clear stone were used for a 6-inch base plus 12-inch backfill and 3-inch front for drainage. The 3/8-inch stone was used to help with leveling. I started digging by hand but found that wasn't going to work, so I rented a mini-excavator for a week. I could have rented it for a day at $385, but going for the week was much more cost-effective. It was well worth the cost. I only used it for 9 hours, but it did the job. Plus, I had time to rebuild a rock wall that needed work. There were smaller walk-behind machines I could have gotten, but they wouldn't have worked as well with the rocks, clay, and roots I went through. The walls average around 3.5 feet high. One wall is 16 feet, a second 7.5, and a curved wall around 12 foot long, or roughly 36 feet of wall. That means I had to dig trenches 36 foot long by 27 inches wide and 13 inches deep, 6 inches for the clear stone, 1 inch for fine stone, and 6 inches for the first block that has to be below ground level. It was a lot of digging with all the walls on slopes, and the rocks, roots, and clay were also trouble, so I didn't have to use the pickaxe very much. I also bought chisels for splitting the blocks, a diamond saw blade to cut blocks, a laser level, and a pickaxe. Here are the tools I used throughout the project. The chisels shocked me the most. A cheap one took forever to split the block. A more expensive one took half the time and effort. I've been working on the 4 walls for about 3 weeks now. Most of the work was done just by me. I had help from my brother on 4 days. Took off 5 days because of rain and other events, and I averaged around 6 hours per day. I'd estimate 100 hours for me plus 16 hours of help. I've got a little finishing to do yet, but the major work is done. The project was overwhelming at times, but equally rewarding as blocks lined up and fell into place.